Ah, the French. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today, and I hope you're having a good day. Good to see you, Calmage. Good to see you, Kit. Good to see you, K-Max. Good to see you, Brayherd. Good to see you, Step Zero. Good to see you, Beer Fox. Good to see you, Quacksplat. I hope everyone's doing well. And Calmage, congratulations. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of Meow. Because you actually put that in chat before you even claimed the crown, which is kind of impressive. And Kit, thank you for the 41-month resub. I am doing well because you know what? May the 4th be with you and with your spirit. Or also with you if you're Episcopalian. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be playing more Kingdom Hearts 3. So let's go ahead. Let's dive on into it. Closed captions. Inept guilt. Well, we are Catholic. Also, this area has the greatest names. Skein of Severance. Twist of Isolation. So anyway, last time we made it to the Keyblade Graveyard. Sora died. Went to the afterlife. Came back. Backwards in time. Got a chance to fight again.
Kairi and Aqua and the others are out there fighting.
And is now fighting Organization 13 along with everyone else. Galaxy Star, not enough to kill. They're quite incredibly depth. Okay, well. I want to go this way. Ow, I jumped. Because we have someone to rescue here. If Naminé is in the puppet now, did she move forward in time to occupy it? Naminé is beyond and without time.
Aqua! Ven! Sora!
It's time to even the playing field by making it 3 against 2. Wait. Let's take care of Vanitas first.
Nope. Annoying. It's over. Right there.
Is that Miles Morales? Sure. I think he prefers being called Spider-Man, but, you know. I appear to be getting injured quite badly. Well, that's because Vanitas cheats. And I'm fine. I have heal abilities. So cheat back harder. No, Sora doesn't cheat. He just summons giant water tentacles.
Let's go.
No, don't ride the Keyblades. That was my thing. You said anything about Sora? I'm playing as Sora? Like, I don't know how to play as Sora or Ben here. No, I don't think I will. I shall not give it up. Don't play as Sora. Play as Sora who believes in you. Somehow I think Sora would be just fine in the Gurren Lagann universe. Stop it! Quit it with your cheap AoE malarkey. He has half a hit bar left.
I need the rest.
We did it. Oh, there's a Squeenix sale. Nice. Vanitas, you're just the shadows of Ventus's heart. You aren't even real.
Your face.
I'm the piece of Ventus that was taken away. And you're the piece Ventus needed to be whole again. So, why shouldn't you and I look exactly the same? You
No, that's pretty
define me,
arbitrary,
Sora,
actually.
the same way that Ventus does. We are brothers who together make a greater whole.
Then why won't you stand by our side? Instead of with darkness?
Because he is
Because
darkness.
I am darkness.
See?
And I do stand by your side. I'm the shadow that you cast.
Vanitas, you're a pizza cutter.
How much closer could I be?
All edge, no point.
But I didn't.
But I didn't ask for this. To be sifted apart, nice and neat. We should be free to
Hey,
choose.
Spooky.
Not just light, not just darkness. We decide what we are.
But, Ventus, I did decide who I am.
No, you didn't. You were sprung out of a lab experiment.
And what you are is darkness?
What I am is darkness.
Okay.
How is that okay? Vanitas?
Sora's upset that he can't convert the good guy to the bad guy to the light. That's how pure heart he is. What darkness he is, indeed. Anyway, we have to now fight Terry Xehanort. And check it out, Guardian is here.
Break him! Break him! Break him! Join the shadows!
He's supposed to be saying break him, but it does sound like brick him, like he's a computer. Pour water on him. Brick him.
Enough! Over here! Over here! Over here!
Stop it! Stop it! No, stay still. Only I'm supposed to be swooshing around at the speed of sound. That was easy. Why does Terranort have a stand? Watch and you'll find out. Stand key.
Aqua... Ben...
Terra, please.
Come back! Terra! Terra! Your friends are here!
That is not how you treat friends. Do not summon the shadow chains, please. Can't believe I have to say that.
Terra!
You have to fight the darkness!
You'll never be able to break these chains. They're our bonds. You have no power over
Stop, Terra! Please, stop it!
Farewell.
No!
Terra, I kept my promise.
It's the cloud replacement. Okay, you're gonna have to be more specific.
Oh!
How? You fell to the dark. One day, I will set this right. One day, I will set this right. I will return to this land and protect my friends.
Terra, now!
Again, Sora is using the power of waking, but does he become a master? No. That's a primal time for the tempering. I don't know what any of this means. I still think that's a really nice way of tying in a detail from the original game that the Guardian is in fact the Heartless of Terra.
Terra? Is it you?
Yeah. You never stop lighting my way back.
Yeah, the retcon of why Mickey is shirtless is great.
I heard you too, Ven.
They didn't even have to. They did.
You found me, just like you promised.
Yeah. Reunion. Wait a minute. This is just Final Fantasy VII.
Aqua and Ventus need rest. Terra, look after them.
No, Sora. I'm going to.
Which makes
That's
it every
what he
Final
wants,
Fantasy. Well,
for
no,
us
they're
to
not
make a
all about
mistake.
reunion.
Put ourselves in danger.
So that's a very specific
Sora,
plot point of 7.
Go. We'll catch up with you.
Right. I got this.
Yeah, you do. Speaking of Final Fantasy VII, I've been playing Remake, and I'm at the top of the Shinra building. And I got to the Rufus fight, and I got my teeth kicked in. Anyway, I'm gonna wait for my MP to recharge. The Rufus fight is so good. Yeah, if you can block.
Heal! Kairi! Axel!
Sora!
Oh, I did stairs, of course.
Nice to see ya!
Can you not block? No, I'm really bad at it.
The moon shines down!
What? Why does this other hooded figure have the axe that Sykes normally uses? Why? That's not. Ow. 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 Hooded figure, can you? Hooded figure, can you stop? Wait, that's a Keyblade. Why does this person have a Keyblade? Blink literally cannot. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, Jam. Stop it. Is this a boss rush? It is. And we've already seen half of it because... There it is! We did the other half last week.
Stop it! Isa!
I don't think that's how you wield an axe. Plus, I don't know how that's called an axe, but anyway. You were scrapped to him.
Xemnas.
There was a time when I trusted you to deal with traitors. And now, your betrayal outstrips them all. What final words do you have for your superior?
Well, let me think about it. How about you were never my superior?
Ah, ever the rogue pawn. Knocked from the board early in the game. Utterly useless and forgotten.
No, we got it memorized. We'll never forget him.
Are you kidding? Do you know how popular I am? I got loads of people rooting for me. Sorry, boss. No one axes Axel.
Or
got it memorized?
Lee, or whoever I am.
Is this supposed to be a Keyblade? Or is it some sort of joke?
No, you need two characters to block that attack. We learned that in 2.
Our plans have been dashed by you. Far more times than I care to count. Now it ends. I will purge that light in you. With darkness. Changing sides again?
We need him alive. You know that.
We only need his heart in order to forge the key. We do not need his soul.
Lightsaber, May the 4th.
But that's right. You were friends. Then, you take his life.
Xemnas' writing is so on point in this scene. Why do they need him alive? For the conflict clash between the 13 Darknesses and the 7 Lights to make the Keyblade. Because plot.
Don't do this.
Xemnas is your favorite Xehanort? I think Xion is my favorite.
Wait. It's all right. You can stop now. It's all right.
Xion.
Useless puppet.
Why do I know that name?
Your Keyblade is no more. And still you think you can play at being a guardian of light? You can wait your
Boot to the
turn.
head.
Also ran.
Yeah, I think this is the only place I've ever heard also ran.
Hands off my friends.
It cannot be.
I love the Roxas light motifs.
My turn.
Roxas.
This is impossible. Where did you get a vessel?
Same as you.
Same how?
Most of the organization's members, they traveled here from the past as hearts. And you had replicas ready and waiting. One for each of them.
Who told you?
I owe my return to many. Some of them people you knew.
Ansem the Wise. Zexion.
And others too. It seems you're not as good at winning over people's hearts as you think.
Ah, I see.
There was one last thing I needed in order for me to be whole again. A connection. Sora helped me find my way back here. To my friends.
Roxas,
Yeah, it is. I think I agree with you, Jay. It does kind of undermine
I don't need hearts.
some of the character development and
I will scatter
emotional
them all
moments.
To the wind.
But it's this makes money. No, not her
What
wrists.
difference does one little light make? You have others. Just as we have more darknesses to replenish our ranks.
It'd be so cool if you got to play as Roxas in this scene now.
Rest, Axel. Roxas will fight in your place. And I'll fight for Kairi.
Yeah, when it comes to Keyblades, you're the old hands.
My one weakness.
No escape. No escape. Get ready. No escape.
I love this track. I forget what this track is called, but it's basically a mashup of Roxas's theme and Vector to the Heavens. Which is Shion's fight boss theme. This is a really cool. They do the whole end game here in Keyblade Graveyard is just spectacle after spectacle, and they're very well done.
I call on the moon's pale light.
Well, Roxas isn't level 1. Yeah, I can wait out your rude. Roxas looking. No, Roxas is looking at Sora going, "You're nerfed so that I can be strong."
Achieved our goal. Why so sad?
You let them reduce you to this?
I thought you outgrew the marks under your eyes.
So?
You look like you need them.
Stop it. The whole act. I thought this was all for her.
At first, I sacrificed everything to try and track her down. You're the one who went off and made other friends. Left her and me both in the dust. It infuriated me how you just exited our lives.
He didn't exit your life. He went alongside you into the organization.
I lost all sense of purpose.
You kind of abandoned him by
forget you.
trying to be the number 2 in
Yes.
Organization 13.
I know. You wouldn't do that. But I was jealous.
You admit it.
Well, if I make it back, you won't get it out of me a second time.
See you, Aiza.
See you, Lee.
You go
See you
help
in like 3
Kyrie.
hours. Yeah. And 20 years.
Right.
Bro,
Gotta
you've made it back
run.
multiple times.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
All right. What now?
Oh. Sad Shion is sad.
Guess I should have brought some ice cream.
I want a game where they're the trio going about. Shion is sad, so I am sad. Yeah, mood. Shion is precious, and the ending of 358 hurts.
It's night already? Yeah. Huh. Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Tower of Endings.
Riku, Your Majesty.
Now, Gale, when you set the jambling,
About time.
Sorry.
were you thinking this fight, or were you thinking the Xehanort fight? Because you said, can he defeat Xemnas, and this is Xemnas, young Xehanort, and Ansem. So, time for Nortcourt. Are we going to Disney World?
Ah, the French.
Kyrie.
Hey, Beer Fox, thank you for the sub.
Is she in trouble?
This fight? Okay.
Xemnas took her.
Settle down, boy.
It's Sora.
The 13 darknesses and 7 lights have clashed 9 times, yielding these 9 keys.
Keys?
We are 4 short, but those 4 keys will be produced here and now.
This is a plot point I do not
Yeah,
understand.
Sure. And what makes you think there'd ever
They
be
just
any way we'd
randomly
help you
throw
with
in
that?
these keys that look like the Master's Keyblade.
You forget I plan for every eventuality.
Kyrie.
If you do summon Kingdom Hearts, we will defeat you.
Plot?
And we will
Oh.
close it again.
Don't make me get the flowchart.
Perhaps. That is, if you survive that long.
I'm gonna take out young Xehanort first because his time magic is a problem.
Riku! King Mickey!
They gotta stop horror farming. Nah, it's really their thing. Oh no! I told you the time magic. And he has the weird whip keyblade.
Let's go!
Hey, kid, thank you for 300 bits. What's interesting is I saw the hype train start before that even went off. I'm gonna hit you with a flag. What you think of that? Get Krakened. Also, why doesn't Ansem Seeker of Darkness have Terra's Heartless? Because Terra is no longer Heartless. Get away from me. So when does Sora go all fierce deity with the Keyblade? Surprisingly never. Stop it! You have great timing. I love that. I had 7:30 mass. So, what did I say? I talked about in the reading from Acts of the Apostles today. The people of Lystra and Derbe think that Paul and Barnabas are the Greek gods Zeus and Hermes, and something they do is they bring the priests to offer sacrifice. And there's multiple kinds of sacrifice throughout various cultures. Read the Old Testament, you'll find different kinds of sacrifice. But this strikes me as a sacrifice of, please be appeased and go away. I mean, let's look at the history of Greek mythology and the history of Zeus coming to Earth. Not a good thing. And I counterpose that to our sense of the divine. And the presence of God and what that means, especially talking about the Advocate and Pentecost, as that's coming up, and as mentioned in the Gospel. Which also, shout out to the Gospel of John here, which has the line, Judas, not the Iscariot. What? Okay, I forgot you could get carousel. I don't like doing the attractions during boss fights like this. I think it ruins the mood. Use iframes of water to block an attack. Yep. Gotta time your magic. He says,
so
acting like
funny.
you do that. Actually, I think I kind of did that intentionally,
I
but
told you. There's a high price to pay for all of this.
And what price would that be?
I have $1.50 in my pocket.
I'll go back to my time and live out my life. But Sora, you're done now. Your journey ends here.
Nah, his journey is only just beginning.
What?
Goodbye, Sora. Your time in
Is
this
now.
world is...
We pray all the time for God Jesus to return. Yeah, exactly. We look forward to it.
The wielders weep for you. begins and ends in darkness.
Yeah, young Xehanort is not repentant in the slightest. He's seen his future and he's like, yeah, this is a great plan.
Or you say, surrender to it!
I'd rather not.
No more.
No, let me close the distance. There we go. Thank you.
It's over. Here we go.
No, he teleported away. That did nothing. Cheater. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Also using the weapon transformations like that to get out of a combo attack. That one I can confidently say was intentional. And Ansem's down.
The darkness.
Look at all his opponents like they did Weenie Hut Jr. How can I be defeated by the same boy, but now who has had multiple years of study and lesson?
What a journey you and I have had.
You know, it's strange. I think I'm gonna miss you.
With every shot
Your
so far,
strength
hey-oh.
is vaster than darkness. I knew I never stood a chance. Part of me wanted to defy my fate. But when the others betrayed us, I found I did not care. And then, nothing else seemed to matter anymore.
Ansem.
What? It is time to move on, boy.
Again.
There is more to seek. So go forth now and seek it.
Aw, the Seeker told us to go seeking. Because they pull their consciousness forward, do they experience the loss before the earlier loss? I don't think it's... I think the time travel's a little more complicated than that. Like, time travel tends to let you just go backwards in this system, I think. It's really convoluted and unclear and inconsistent.
Pay attention. Be gone.
It's over.
So should I just throw and lose to this boss and have to restart just to make everyone lose channel points?
No more. Pay attention. Be gone.
Rude. Calmage would appreciate it. Oh no, how many points did Calmage? That'll make everyone lose channel points. Just some people. It would make you lose channel points.
Pay attention. Be gone.
That was close.
Mickey heals more than Donald does.
What am I feeling?
Calmage. Oh, Calmage. You were wrong.
Bested. Yet again.
I know that you have a heart. What do you feel? Was it worth it?
I feel the emptiness where my companions once stood. I took them for granted.
Yeah, you did.
And now I have nothing.
You are nothing.
My first surge of emotion in years. For as long as I can remember. And it's loneliness. Do you see? A heart is just pain.
Pain is being human, Xemnas.
Really? It must take incredible strength.
It's called the heart. It's pretty strong.
"12 keys we have now. Leaving just one more.
But what are these keys? Where are...
Now, Sora. Darkness and light's final clash.
Kairi!
You require motivation.
Kairi! Why her? Why?
I have done it.
Xehanort!
You okay? Ultima!
Stop, son.
Your Majesty! Riku! Oh, ah!
Man, having 12 floating keyblades must be pretty nice.
The Keyblade War will finally reach its conclusion.
Kyrie, more like 13th key, Rye. Am I right? Oh.
Ah, the Keyblade is complete. Kingdom Hearts, I call upon your
Hey,
true
Greg.
form. Open now and show me the world to come.
Are you still fighting the war? Because he didn't have the keyblade yet. He just had a regular keyblade, not the keyblade.
We thought you might be able to use a couple of more half pints.
Donald. Goofy.
You can't do anything without us, Sora.
Donald, I just did a lot. Thank you very much.
Now wipe those tears. And let's go stop Master Xehanort.
Yeah.
Donald's writing is weird in this game.
He controls Kingdom Hearts now. And Kairi.
You worried?
Guys.
Sorry we took so long. Had a couple of plot points that needed ironing out.
Master Xehanort.
He did it. He opened Kingdom Hearts.
So what now?
would write Donald to be able to write cast Zeta Flare.
We've still got one hope.
Your Majesty, Riku, are you okay?
We're fine.
Yeah.
What hope?
It's Xehanort. During the Mark of Mastery exam, we learned that he can transcend space and time. He's a portal, and we can use that to trap him.
But it won't be easy. Aqua, Riku, I'll need both your help if we're gonna push Xehanort out of this world.
Understood.
Wait! I'll do it.
What?
Kingdom Hearts is a much bigger threat. Let me
What
handle
is Kingdom
Xehanort
Hearts?
while you guys keep it shut.
Right.
So many grunts of approval.
Okay, Sora.
I got this.
We'll go with this cockamamie scheme. I don't think it'll work, but
What is Kingdom Hearts? A very large media property. Yeah, well, you know.
Huh?
You can't forget about us.
Without Keyblades, it's not like we'll be much help here. Oh.
3 half pints together again.
Let's move. The darkness is spreading.
No, I think it's spread pretty completely on Kingdom Hearts there.
Sora,
Huh? Oh. Hey.
Kairi will be alright. I can feel it.
Thank you.
Oh, so many cutscenes.
Do it!
No, my true nature. A portal. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is kind of like the heart of all worlds, and thereby whoever controls it can control if it's light or dark and the effect that has on the worlds.
Where are we?
Scalad Kylum? This was teased so much
It's
in
beautiful.
in the trailers, and it's one boss fight.
Right. We need to find Master Xehanort.
Yeah.
I think I picked up some new equipment for them. I did. Nice.
Xehanort has to be some. We're in town.
There is lots of town, Goofy. They did so much detail work for this space. I mean, there's like the little flower carts, there's tables and chairs.
It sure is awful quiet here.
Just go run around.
Hey! What?
We've been fighting against 13 Xehanorts, and all of a sudden there's more than one Xehanort? What is this?
What's going on?
This armor rope combo does look pretty slick, though, not gonna lie. Behold, the 13 replicas
serious?
that Xehanort had to replace the true Organization 13, which was to replace the Organization 13. You thought it looked silly? I think it looks cool, but I like the Kingdom Hearts aesthetic. Also, this fight is cool because they each represent one of the original members of the Organization 13 with what weapons they use.
I don't think they're the locals.
How many Organization 13s are we at? Almost 13 of them, actually.
Huh?
14 Organization 13s. We call that a Shion of Organization 13s.
Back at ya! Yeah! Yeah! See ya! Back off! Yeah! Yeah! Try this! Yeah! So long!
Did you target anything, Goofy? Nope. Okay, cool.
Take this!
Where did they go? Look at this level of detail. Like this little rooftop terrace and... Go, fight, win!
Of all the places to be sent,
Master Xehanort!
behold this town. Once a seat of power for all Keyblade wielders, it is the nexus from which all worlds spring.
That's where the dandelions came from.
other selves can be one. United in Scala et Caelum.
Your Keyblade uses just Time Lords? No, but the originals kind of are. Look, the cool area. Hope we can explore. Guess what? Hello, darkness, our old friend. Horse. Xehanort's big horse.
Let's get him. Yeah.
Also, I love that you can see his face in the cutscene there, like underneath the red part of the neck. Wait a minute, this isn't Inception.
You guys okay?
Although this is a very cool boss fight.
Xehanort!
We are just getting started.
Thank you.
There we go. There we go. That's a huge chessboard.
Back off. Take this.
Or Donald and Goofy haven't figured out flight.
Try this.
Trying to just get back up to the same level as him. There we go. Thank you.
It's over.
So in Kingdom Hearts 91, there's a whole series of mental episodes here. Sora and Xehanort in some padded... No, Sora and Xehanort are the same person in said padded room. Oh dear. Hey there, Hope. It's like a ballet, but in the sky and with swords. It's okay, Sora Nort. You'll be in Kingdom Hearts and save your friends. Oh, oh, okay, that was that. Final boss, final boss! And then it's on to the DLC where we have to fight the final boss again, but different. Sploosh. Kaboom. Disney fan disassociated. Oh dear. Also, shout out to this section being in underwater for no real reason. Come on, MP, you're almost there. You can see Civilization predating Skull. I mean, fair. But I think this fight would have been exactly the same had it not randomly turned to underwater. In fact, I think underwater this section's easier just because, like, Sora has huge range on his attacks. Oh, that's not right. No. Yeah, I'm gonna activate Rage Form just to save my life here. Because I do still have a Kupo coin as well, but I'd like to save that for the last section. See, this is why I don't learn to block, because then the final boss in Kingdom Hearts is always like flying in the air, and you're not allowed to block, so why bother learning? Stab it! Stab it! Stab it! Dude, the water iframe trick again. I know I'm very good at that. And that time I can guarantee you again that I did it intentionally. Beats Xehanort with the tentacles. His identity now. Oh yeah, it's Xehanort. really just waited there. Yeah, he was very gentlemanly that way. That's round 1. We have just abandoned any and all pretense that Sora is a normal human being. What are you looking so smug for? We just beat you. We're gonna win again.
It's all over, Xehanort!
You thought you could contain me here?
Yes.
Knowing all that you do about connections? There is one sky, one destiny.
So he's summoning Kingdom Hearts inside of Kingdom Hearts. Except not really, because we're inside. Anyway. This game is about spectacle at this point. The remix of this song is also so good. I think it's 13th Dark. No, it's not 13th Darkness because it showed up in Kingdom Hearts 1. What's the same? The Kingdom Hearts world. Quadratum. And actually, yes, that is the plot of Kingdom Hearts 4. Maybe. If it ever gets released.
Here we go. It's over.
How did none of those attacks connect? Kingdom Hearts in space! Goofy Bombardment, really not going to do a lot here, Goofy, but thank you for the idea. Yeah, maybe Sora's just better at using a Keyblade in combat than you are. Like, you may have the ultimate Keyblade, but if you're not a good swordsman, like... Muppets and Star Wars World. I would love to see a Sora Muppet.
Come, Kingdom Hearts!
Oh yeah? Well, I have Bahamut. I'm flying too high. Donald just healed me. Let the record show. Now, he has some sort of malarkey ultimate attack on this platform that I forget about, but there's some way to counter it. We're a little over halfway through his health bars. Gesundheit, danke. It means healthfulness. Full something, World Gang? No. That is a deep no. I do appreciate that. I will not taste defeat. You're going to taste defeat. And it does not taste like vanilla ice cream. Ah, here we go. Here's the malarkey attack. I'm trying to attack Xehanort, but, you know, if he doesn't appear... Give me back my light. Yeah, because I'm not allowed to heal in this right now, but he does drop light, which is, of course, orbs, as we learned from Kingdom Hearts 2, the most powerful substance. Oh, hey, Mel. This is endgame. In fact, this is the boss. Orb! Man is so pretentious. Stab it! Stab it! Moogle coin! Literally bought that at the beginning of the game. And I have actually even beaten this. I have beaten this boss without even using the Moogle coin. Father, I'm pressing guard button. Difficulty level impossible. I don't know what it is. I'm literally Unga and Bungying my entire way through Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's a trip. Anyway, we have half a hit bar left, so this should be it. Oh, man. You dodge. Come on. Oh, I have to use Last Raid. That's right. I forgot I have to do the cutscene ability.
It ends here and now.
Also, you can't block when you're in the air. Father Duck tapes the square button. He's an X button in charge. There's only one button on the controller. Also, we lost. Oh no. But wait. Wake up, Sora!
Huh? Get up! Or you're not getting paid!
That made me so mad the first time I played this, because I was like, what? I did so well. What do you mean I lose? And then I was like, why doesn't it say game over, load, or replay, or whatever? And it's great storytelling-wise, but just like in the moment, I was so upset that I had lost, and I was so close. I was like, what? The power of friendship. Strong in Kingdom Hearts. No, that is Kingdom Hearts. Also, time for probably like a half an hour of cutscenes. What's better, this training moment? I think from an active gameplay standpoint, probably the Laser Dome. From a subversion of game mechanics, this one.
It's over now. You lost.
No, look. You are too late.
Are we really?
I don't know.
What's gonna happen?
A purge. The world will be returned whence it started. The world began in darkness, and from that darkness came light. From the light came the people, and the people had hearts. Evil burgeoned in those hearts, begetting more darkness. And that darkness spread across the world like a plague. The light, the symbol of the world's hope, was devoured by shadow, leaving nothing but ruin and utter failure.
No, there's still hope.
The first light, the light of Kingdom Hearts, it can give us a new start. An empty world, pure and bright.
It wasn't your decision to make.
And plus, your darkness.
Then whose was it? The world needs someone to stand up and lead. Someone strong. To stop the weak from polluting the world with their endless darkness. Someone to dictate their destiny.
Nah, bro, we don't need that.
If so,
Is that the
you are
Keyblade
not that
version of the
person,
Elder Wand? Kind of.
Xehanort.
Basically, yeah.
A real
Was
leader
this whole motivation
knows that
foreshadowed
destiny
somewhere?
is beyond his control, and accepts that.
I feel like it's been retconned so many times, honestly, that it's a haze.
You make me think of an old friend.
Look! Oh.
You made it.
Are you okay?
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts is closing on the other side, but we managed to follow our hearts to you.
Master Xehanort. There's more to light than meets the eye. As I told you.
Oh no, a witticism.
Sly fox.
Hi, Arrakis.
Now hand over the Keyblade, Xehanort. It is too late. For us, perhaps, but not for them. No. I can do this.
Can you, though? Can you? It is Mark Hamill, yeah.
Enough. Checkmate.
Get it? Because they were playing that weird chess game. I can do this. No, bro. No, you can't.
I told you that you might be surprised.
Yeah, you got me.
Huh? Really?
What?
It's just, you never admit it when you lose.
That's because I never lose.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, checkmate means that Xehanort can just restart his side of the board.
Good game today.
I try.
Maybe I won't go as far as you.
Huh?
When the world needs a defender, they'll pick you, Ericus.
No, they won't.
Huh? You think?
But that doesn't mean that I can't be there for you.
Yeah.
Until Dark Road happens
I'll
and
be
I fall
there
to
for you.
darkness. That was Xehanort and Ericus as little
Very well done.
young Keyblade students.
Terra, Aqua, then. Forgive your foolish teacher.
I like that he says that as like a command, not an ask.
Master! Master!
Master.
Like a please would have gone a long way in
I
that
put you
sentence.
through such a harrowing experience.
Yeah, you tried to destroy him.
And Aqua, I left you with such a heavy burden. Terra, look after them for me. Please.
Why are you asking Terra? Aqua's the master out of the three of them.
Here. Ready, my friend? Yes.
And Xehanort's redeemed for some reason. Sorry, it was vague. Pitch against one another was generally unhelpful. All's forgiven. Weakest forgiveness ever.
Sora, let's close it.
Everybody help me out.
You two don't have Keyblades. square pitting their various bodies against one another? Nah, couldn't happen. Oh yeah, no, I'm not against the idea of him being redeemed. Like, in fact, shocker, I am in favor of redemption. I think redemption is cool and awesome and powerful and can be very well done. I just think that redemption feels incredibly hollow because it just happens with no conversion. You know, it'd be like if the penitent thief was like, I'm making fun of Jesus. Also, Jesus, please take me to heaven. It's like... Wild, I know, right? Cool, now what? You guys want to go get, like, some falafel or something?
It's finally over.
No.
We'll find Kyrie.
Hey,
Let's
Metanoia.
head back to Master Yen Sid. We can figure it out.
No. I know what to do.
Sora!
My whole journey began the day I lost her. And every time I find her, she slips away again. I thought we'd finally be together, but she's out there, alone. Not for one more second.
Maybe she doesn't want to be found? No, I think in this case she does.
Donald, Goofy.
But it gets more complicated when you
But
bring
this
in the
time, I have to go it alone.
rhythm game.
Sora, listen. The power of waking isn't to go chase hearts around. Even if you do locate Kyrie, you might never come home to us again.
I will. And we'll both be back before you know it.
Please.
Let him go, Mickey.
Riku!
His heart and his mind are made up. Now believe in him.
Yeah. Safe journey, Sora.
I still think
Thank
this is
you.
a terrible idea.
Where is Kyrie? I forget where they decide that she is. Folks are still somehow convinced Sora doesn't love Kyrie. What? Kyrie's dead? Except she's not, because she shows up in Melody of Memory and is like, where'd Sora go? Well, that outfit was protecting Mickey from the darkness. Aw, nice little grave for Ericus. Hi, Chirithy. Because I think there's an implication that Ventus is a dandelion from Union Cross. He just doesn't remember it because dandelions. I've said dandelion a few times in the stream. Dandelions were a group of people who lived in Scala and Kylum who were dispersed in the Keyblade War to keep the light alive. Also, I really like Axel's outfit here. And what is Issa doing here? Why is he redeemed? Everything's fine. I love their casual fit. Especially because Axel's is very reminiscent of the robe. Oh no, if you're betting on me on Poly Market, please like, no. Don't ask questions, consume product. Why is he back? Weren't many members of... Yeah, a couple of them. So like Marluxia and Demyx and Luxord and Larxene are all Dandelions. Marluxia and Larxene in particular are confirmed. I think Luxord and Demyx are implied. Oh no, the audio got muted on the heavily copyrighted song. I just want to check y'all can't hear the song, right? Because I still can. Also, I like how they're like, oh, we have to protect the order of the worlds. And they're like, oh, hey, friends from Twilight Town, let's take you to this other place. Whatever lies beyond this morning. Simple and clean. What was the original vision for Kingdom Hearts? Well, I think the original version was like the original vision was just a game. I don't think they necessarily had plans for a sequel. They may have had some inkling, but like, you know, it was not already in development, as far as I know. So I think the after credits scene was added in America and then in Japan in the Final Cut mix, I think, if I remember correctly. The after credits idea was an idea prototype. Yeah, it was added in later versions of the original and then all subsequent games. And it's the after credit scene is of varying degrees worked into future games. It's more like a concept teaser than an actual. There really was a Kingdom Hearts 3. Toe to tip, that's Kingdom Hearts 3. Riku hanging out with another Riku who doesn't need to exist. Which game had the best secret ending cutscene and why was it 2? I don't know. I'm a fan of Dream Drops where everyone's saying Sora. Well, the Kingdom Hearts 1 secret cutscene, there is no Sora. It's Riku and Roxas. The numbered games. Oh. I mean, 2's was so cool because it was so enigmatic. Because, like, who are these people with this armor? What is this place? I don't know. I still like 1's because that whole fight scene between Roxas and Riku is just so iconic. Riku's too cool, so I had to have a second one. Make it more marketable. Skrillex, yeah. Yeah, proof that this game was supposed to be released like 5 years before it actually came out.
Sir, we've got to drop the bass. Ready? Oh, whoop, 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 whoop.
It's hard to do bass in a Mickey voice. Birth by Sleep secret ending to an non-existent sequel. Oh. You need to have a Mickey redeem.
Uh-huh. No, I need to just hold on to that so I can drop it on you in surprise. You'll never see it coming sometimes.
Gale has redeemed a father joke. You know, I've kind of had it with shortening everything. You know, we tried to truncate too many words in the English language, and so from this day on, I'm just done with Nicholas names. There are 2 Crit Roll people in the voice cast. They were probably in this before Crit Roll. Yeah, we're rebuilding Thebes. Oh, you heard a new one? Oh, Matt Mercer's in this? I didn't notice that. I mean, my eyes are up here and down here and all over here and around me. Be not afraid. It's so weird that Phil said no line in this game. Is that a loss? Look, all I'm saying is that Phil has 2 words in this game. Twitch tells you error. Oh, my Mickey voice is too powerful for Twitch clips. Get on the Hydra's back! Hey, Mithril. Are you fashionably late? Well, you did miss the final boss fight. Is Sephiroth in this one? No. There's no Final Fantasy in this one. Now I think it's Yuzora is the hard boss fight secret. Are you scared of video tie-ins, Mr. Turner? Is Square ever going to release that game? Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so, but I really wish someone would just let him make Final Fantasy 13 verses. because even 15 is not 13 verses. And he tries to cram it in here with Verum Rex and Yozora. It's like, Squeenix, just let the man make the game he wants. Yeah, honestly, I mean, the whole game looks good. But yeah, the Pirates, it doesn't have, because like 2's, the Pirates are this weird photorealistic, but not. It's Uncanny Valley. Why does your mom let you have two Baymaxes? I don't think I have JM. I should look those up because I'm probably not going to fight that boss. And if I fight him, I'm not going to win. Are you Baymaxing? But why? Why are they riding a sled made of ice? A little cheesy. Yeah, maybe when I'm done doing as much of Remind as I'm gonna do. Is that... I know there's like the secret cutscene that shows Sora basically in Tokyo. That was a bassoon solo. Yeah, you know it. Maybe just look up the scene, but I still have more play on the YouTube. Well, you can do that. That's what I was saying, is that maybe after I do as much of Remind, because it's part of Remind. Because what we're going to do is after the cutscene, we're going to go take a commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll start Remind. Gotta thank everyone who is involved. Okay. Secret episodes just stuff post Remind. Oh, okay. The DLC helped Remind more of Final Fantasy. I didn't actually even play Remind until like a year after it came out. It's the longest I've waited to play something Kingdom Hearts since like 1 and 2. have not played Remind. Well, now you get to watch me play it. It definitely starts with some interesting boss fights. Destiny! Let's go. Classic track. Missed stream. Oh no. Hey Bree. The good news is I'm still gonna be streaming for about another hour. So, you haven't missed stream. You missed the final boss fight. And now I have to sit through the cuts, through the credits, but then we're going to start Remind. You've arrived at the correct moment. Yes. Yes, just in time to find out that public relations coordinator was Mehdi Deginner. Am I going to play another Metroidvania? Eventually. Not immediately. Soterra's audio seems to be scuffed in some scenes. Yeah, I remember that vaguely. Well, we'll be listening for it because we'll get to it as soon as the credits are done and we take a commercial break. Do I jump straight into integrate? Probably not straight. I might take a small break, but we'll see. I do also have Rebirth. Is that the second one? Rebirth is way too long. Well, you know. You know, all the side Kingdom Hearts. That's probably fine, actually. It probably makes about as much sense.
Finally, back where it belongs.
Soul Calibur crossover. No, these are 4 of the 5.
Did you summon us back?
Guilds? Leaders? Forget what they call them.
Yep.
They've been summoned through time and space, despite having been dead.
Is that you, Lucio? You look different.
Haven't heard that name in a long while. These days they call me Zigbar, but hey, whatever suits you.
Is it really you?
Yeah, but some time ago I had to cast my old form away. Been through plenty more semblances since, but it's still me underneath it all.
What happened? Why are we here? You tell me!
I had a role to play. And after all these years, it's done.
What role?
Well, if you think you can take the 5 of them...
Guess Ava didn't make it after all.
Meaning what?
I told her clear as day what it is I had to do.
And is that why you decided to exclude her?
As if. Ava had her own mission, and she carried it out.
I've heard enough! Luxu, what was your role?
I hope you like long stories.
I mean, you could probably tell them your role without a long story, but anyway. But yeah, I do think that's a really cool cutscene. This is Remind, isn't it? This is Kingdom Hearts 3 with Remind. I forget where one begins. This is spoilers! Bree, it's a 7-year-old game.
Oh, right.
What's in the box? I think that's still the normal
What's this?
cutscene at the end of 3.
I heard about this new game. Hmm. 7 black pieces, and just watch.
Ow, my forehead. The end. Enemies defeated, and even 2,700. I like that. Most consumed cuisine, nothing. He ate none of the rat's food. No, I did not. Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to start the DLC, so don't go anywhere. And we are back. Let's play some Remind.
May
Yep.
your heart be your guiding key.
Remind is the DLC.
Picture this. A black goat stashes away a letter, then orders a white goat to search for it. What could his intentions possibly be?
Great! A riddle. Just what I need.
There are many possibilities. Perhaps he forgot where it's hidden. Or he's playing a prank. Or the letter has truly gone missing. I can think of several reasons offhand. Guessing is simply useless.
Well, then just follow your orders. Plain and simple.
This looks like he listens to new metal.
Yes, that's what I've always done. I follow the orders from above, without question. However, I sometimes can't help but read.
Yeah,
into
Luxord
my
in the DLC
opponent's
is a lot better
strategy.
than in the main game.
Too long on the job?
If the contents of the box are so unknown, why is it of such critical importance to the organization? Furthermore, was it Xehanort or Xemnas who gave the order?
Well, it's tricky.
Actually, neither. It's Zigbar,
All
Luju.
Xehanort cares about is the clash between the 7 lights and 13 darknesses. It's unlikely he would hold such an interest in this mysterious box. Which means the order was issued by Xemnas, or the one who informed me of my task, you.
As if. It must have been Xemnas.
Liar.
My inquiries suggested otherwise.
Oh, man. You asked him.
What are your intentions?
Look, I don't know what's inside the box, but it's been
I've just been
protected
guarding it
by
for
Keyblade
centuries.
wielders since way back when. Aren't you curious? I heard it contains information that's vital to all Keyblade wielders. Secrets.
And where did you hear this?
I don't remember. I keep my eyes and ears wide open, but I've traveled so many different places. It's hard to keep everything straight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If this box is truly as important
He was on the
as you
internet. Well,
say,
it has to be true
why
then.
now? I believe you discovered that others also seek it, and you need to find it before anyone else does, in order to keep your connection to the box a secret from those around you. Xigbar, who are you really?
What's in the box? Nobody knows. We
No
may never
matter.
know.
It doesn't make a difference to me. It's all the same.
We'll find out in
I'm
Kingdom Hearts
content
9.
to feign ignorance.
The question is, who are you, Luxord?
I think asking who both of you really are is an important question. Goose goes approaching the box. I'll turn him into a flea, a harmless little flea, and I'll put that flea inside of a box, and I'll put that box inside of another box, and I'll put that box inside of another box, and then I'll mail myself that box, and when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer. Who is Luxord? I don't know who Luxord's father is. I don't think they've revealed that.
We'll find Kyrie. Let's head back to Master Yen Sid. We can figure it out.
No. I know what to do.
Sora!
My whole journey began the day
I feel like I
lost
just
her.
saw this.
And
Can't
every
put my finger
time
on
I
it.
find her, she slips
It's like
away
deja
again.
vu.
I thought we'd finally be together, but she's out there, alone. Not for one more second.
That's right.
Thank you, Donald, Goofy. But this time, I have to go it alone.
Sora, listen. The power of waking isn't to go chase hearts around. Even if you do locate Kyrie, you might never come home to us again.
I will. And we'll both be back before you know it.
You can't guarantee that.
Please.
Let him go, Mickey.
Riku!
His heart and his mind are made up. Now believe in him.
Yeah. Safe journey, Sora.
Thank you.
Theta mind. Even though it's not Theta. So it makes me think of.
So?
Yeah. It wards off darkness. It's useful.
Told ya. So, how'd it go? The tour.
I learned the reason for my existence.
Oh? Tell me more.
All around the world, people live seemingly peaceful lives. They believe themselves to be moral and virtuous, but it's all an act. Darkness lurks in the pit of everyone's heart.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they can't
Their
still be
life is a
virtuous.
total farce.
Big thinky man
Sounds
here.
like your trip around the world opened your eyes, but you got a little bit more than you anticipated. You must have seen a lot of darkness.
Those who are weak and who desire greater power simply strip the strong of their power and convince themselves they've earned it. That's how people become tainted by darkness.
No,
They believe what they want to believe, using hollow reasons as justification. They repeat this cycle, and their darkness grows.
So you're saying the
Bro, you took a
weak
Philosophy
feel the need
101
to
course, you
justify
think you have
their
the world figured
actions
out.
to maintain a sense of self. Can't let that slide.
No, it's better they be ruled by darkness. People carry delusions of having power, but it's a lie.
Fortunately, you have no such
They are but
delusions.
sheep pretending to be wolves. Though I admit, I can understand why.
Oh, I've never heard that one before. A Keyblade wielder willing to side with the darkness? Why not just let them be until the darkness consumes them?
Because left alone, the world would fall to chaos. There needs to be order.
You sure about that? Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
So he's lawful evil, is what we've learned.
Understanding hearts is difficult. More so the emotions within. I simply realize that it's easy to dismiss what you don't comprehend.
All right, all right. The world needs you. I'll grant you that one.
I don't know what I can do, but I will act. What comes next is too important.
I suppose letting false light dictate the future might be a pretty lousy move. So, you can make a change. You have that power. What do you want for the world?
Power, eh? Who knows? My training's coming to an end, and the exam's not far off. Maybe I can gain some clarity then.
You're letting the exam decide? Listen to me. The results don't matter. You believe the world needs you. Sounds like you already know where you're headed.
It's funny. Somehow, I can sense where I'm supposed to go, and what I'm supposed to do.
It's called discernment.
Yes. Even this coat. There's something familiar about it. As if I'm meant to wear this.
No. You'll ditch it soon.
What do you mean?
I mean that one day you're going to outgrow it.
How so?
If you truly possess great power, the darkness can't control you. You won't need a silly old coat to stay safe. In fact, you'll be the one controlling the darkness instead. Me, on the other hand, I'm too much of a scaredy cat to ever take mine off.
Who are you, really? Some kind of fortune teller?
No, he's the master of masters.
Well, I could lie and tell you that's what I am when I'm actually a brilliant artist, or even a scholar. I could tell you that I dream of world peace when I'm actually planning for its destruction. The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
Dressing edgy protects you from darkness. Yeah, it helps you blend in there. Go, he's just one of us. Don't attack him.
Your name?
What did I just... Never mind. I guess there's no harm. My name is...
If you've watched
I'm a lost master.
The Union Cross movie, you know this is the Master of Masters by voice alone. And he's up to no good.
Master?
He also only has one eye. Because his other eye is in a Keyblade. My name is Sora Redacted.
May your heart be your guiding key.
There's a lot of debate around who the Master of Masters is. Cannot think of another character with only one eye. Okay, but Xigbar Lushu
so funny,
lost
old
his.
man.
We have seen him with
Mind
both
sharing
eyes.
with us?
Has to be Oswald.
I stand here today because of a fated encounter. Very many years ago, when I was still a young lad. I never learned who he was, and perhaps I never will. But I see now the truth he spoke of.
We don't have time for bedtime stories. Without the kid, we're still down a 13th vessel.
Oh, you'll be
And
fine.
as for the other 12, only 3 of us are here right now. Are you absolutely sure the others made their way back to their respective times?
That's about being when you were a young boy.
Marluxia and Larxene are both here in this time, attempting to locate the new Seven Hearts. Luxord is also somewhere about in this age, but after our last meeting, he went in search of something per your order. Isn't that so?
Huh. Oh, that. Right. Well, let's just say that what he's doing will benefit us in the long run. But it's really of no importance right this second. Go on.
Playing your cards close as usual.
It seems important.
All right. The hearts of Ansem, Xemnas, Vanitas, Riku Replica, and young Xehanort returned to where they came from and reassembled once more. Each of them is seeking a guardian of light.
So, the ones who turn human, and then back again into nobodies are me, you, Luxord, Marluxia, and Larxene, that's 5. The ones from the past transferred into replicas are Ansem, Xemnas, Vanitas, Riku Replica, and the old man's younger self. Then we add the old man in.
Replica.
Total comes up to 11. I think we're still missing 2.
Now we must discuss why we have assembled here today. My incarnations from past times, vessels into which I transferred
Better
my
Xehanort
heart,
than the
my
base game.
essence, were destroyed. Thus I was restored to what you see now. For one to completely disappear, their heart and body must be restored to their original form. That is one reason why I
Still not as good
distributed
as
my
Nimoy.
heart into several vessels.
It is.
Ansem and Xemnas originated from Terra, or rather his young form, and it too was restored.
Because Nimoy did the voice in
However, my heart
Birth
has
by Sleep in
returned to
3D,
me, while
and then
his
died.
is yet
And they had
lost.
someone else come in and do it for 3, but then he died before they
I
recorded for
decided to fill this
Remind.
hollow vessel with my heart. Indeed, the very same heart that previously resided within young Terra.
So that makes 12. Then, who do we get to replace the kid?
20 replicas were created by Vexen. The first 12 were nothing more than puppets, barely human. The prototype model was the Riku replica, and then number I was made. That leaves us with 6.
How
Ansem,
irrational.
Xemnas, Vanitas, Riku replica, and young Xehanort's
And imaginary.
hearts. 5 vessels, 1 left. Vexen and Demyx are candidates, but backups at best. The plan for the last replica is to give it a heart that is connected to Sora's.
Connected to Sora? Anyone in mind?
The second prototype that was created, number I. Though erased from memory, it remained in Vexen's records. Its existence is greatly linked to Sora's memories, and thus should prove to be more than adequate for our needs.
Number I. An imaginary number. How fitting.
While young Xehanort is occupied with transferring hearts, I must go fulfill my
Brought to
duty.
you by Number
I will
I.
go and retrieve Vexen.
Thank you, Count Von Count.
Reliable as always. It sounds
That's
to me
Number
like
Wang.
you've got everything dependably under control. Well, I'm off to do my part.
The plan, As we agreed upon.
They said Kingdom Hearts won't teach you anything. I'm learning lots.
May your heart be your guiding key.
All right, everyone, let's count to I. Oh, we're back in the final world.
Huh? This is...
I'm dead again.
Chirithy!
Back so soon? What's wrong?
The DLC is really more of a movie with some
Well...
fights that break out in the middle of it.
Even with the power of waking, you can't just bring someone back.
But Kyrie's heart
I
hasn't
can't
been
really
lost
do a
yet.
Chirithy voice. I can
She's
do a
still
Mickey
with us,
voice,
right?
Maybe, but this time, I'm afraid the situation is a lot worse.
Hey, I've already restored 6 hearts. What's one more?
But that's not how it's supposed to work at all. The power of waking is meant to be used to wake and restore sleeping hearts, not to restore them after they've completely faded away from existence. You've done that 6 times before, and as a result, you've managed to greatly alter the course of history itself. You've
been
broken
meddling.
a nature taboo.
Nature...
A forbidden act.
Oops.
Break a taboo of nature, and you'll end up paying an extraordinary price.
I've heard that before. So, what's the price?
Like $1.50,
You'll
$2.
lose your powers. You won't be able to use the power of waking.
That's all? No problem.
But that's not all. You yourself will vanish from this world. And without your powers, you can't return to the world you came from.
I don't care.
What?
There's a lot I don't understand.
Most things,
but
actually.
I know that this is all I can do right now. I have to do everything I can to get Kyrie back. That's the whole reason behind my journey.
I can't stop you, can I?
Nope.
Nope. I have to follow my heart.
Well, then this really is goodbye. So listen carefully to me. You'll return to the past again, but you won't be able to rewrite it this time. No matter what happens, you have to accept it and move on.
That hasn't stopped Sora before. So many good abilities, and I only have so much. I only have room for one of them. Unless... Nope, I don't have any AP ups. I could do Skill Ring. It slightly lowers my magic, but I think I'm fine with that for the sake of these abilities. To return to the game? I haven't played
Is
any of the game.
Okay?
Oh, there's more cutscenes.
The heart you have now, it already existed during that time. It went back into that past earlier. Nothing can change that fact. The place where you'll return is the tear in the fabric of time that was created when you changed your destiny, then changed it once again. In order to not stray too far from the true power of waking, you'll enter and pass through the hearts of the Guardians until you reach Kairi's heart. Every emotion that each of the Guardians felt, sadness, anxiety, fear, kindness,
Now let our friend
everything they saw, and everything that they felt then, you'll clear a way through it, traverse across their hearts, and dive ever deeper inside. I can't be sure what's waiting for you at the end, or what you'll actually be able to do. But by following the connection of hearts, you'll come to discover a greater truth. One that's sure to help you.
will be torn heart from body.
But in this flow of time in the past, you'll only have up until the moment you left for this place. So you'll have to find and restore Kairi's
Watch a movie and
heart
connect
before
hearts.
then.
Yep. And do it through a series of boss fights.
That's all the advice I can give you. Beyond that, I can only say, may your heart be your guiding key.
This is Ven's heart.
So we're retconning the fact that Sora actually was protecting everyone's hearts during this hard moment.
Ven!
Sora failed to trust Fall. No, leave him be.
What?
He's too pure, and a pure heart can be most careless.
Who are you?
Darkness.
Darkness? Vanitas?
Sora's like, I know who's Darkness. Defeat Dark Inferno Key. Nope. Nope. I'm gonna tap down words in my lexicon. I think you might need a new lexicon. So, Sora in the future saved everyone in the past, but only after Sora in the other future went into the past to yeah. I'm glad you're picking up and understanding Kingdom Hearts plot. What? Don't make me get the grab.
Here we go.
Wake up. Why do you have orbs of light on your feet serving as roller skates? You're a weird Heartless, you know that? Although I dig them, they're based... This series of bosses like based on the variation, or is a variation of oh shoot, can't remember what they're called. You have the Angel Stars and then the other ones with the big swords in the original Kingdom Hearts. We are so close. We are so close. We got there. I need to equip some healing items. Nice to have a backup.
That's it!
Ooh. Invisible, yes, thank you.
No!
Exactly what I was thinking of, JM. Time to erase this person from existence. Oh yeah, there is no music. And there is music in the original, isn't there? It's an interesting choice.
Ven.
Is this Aqua's heart? Ven's heart was so peaceful. But this is fear. This can't be real. Huh?
Pull it together, Sora. We haven't lost them. They still have their hearts.
But we're gonna need you to die and then come back
have
and
to
go
protect
through
them.
a convoluted time travel scheme.
Right.
We stand together. Mickey, Kairi, Goofy, watch the others.
No! We should all get to safety while we still can!
It's
Too late for that. Oh, that's too real, JM. That's too real. It can't be, but it is. Okay, well, maybe it's not that. Maybe you are seeing things there.
So, this is the fear and despair that Aqua feels. And now, I feel it too.
Oh no, we're back here. No, we're redoing this fight. I forgot you redo this fight. Darkwa. Is there a Darkwa prize for creating an autonomous vehicle? It's a DARPANET prize. Joke. Oh boy, I could use pirate ship. Boom.
Aqua!
Whoa!
Bye, Kyrie. We'll see you again soon. Sorry, your friends are your power. You can't quit like that. I do have the remind abilities.
Terra!
Ven!
Terra, we found you!
Terra, please say you're in there.
What gives, Aqua?
I know that you're not him. Now let our friend go!
Did I pass through the tear? Oh.
You're in your own heart. I think you're getting ready to go to the tear. Sup?
Sora?
Naminé?
Rocky Tucker Scott.
What are you doing here? Have you lost yourself like I did?
Well, it's a long story. But tell me, why haven't you returned to Kyrie's heart yet?
Because I think she was getting a replica to inhabit.
He is their 13th.
Today is the day you all lose.
Actually, he was their 11th, but, you know.
What?
Before you even face the 13, every last one of you will be torn heart from body. But fear not. The Keyblade will still be forged.
Because I'm still not able to. But I'm calling out to Terra's heart, and I brought him here.
Terra?
No. Terra's heart is too steeped in darkness.
But his
Instead,
will.
I've brought out Terra's most personal and powerful thoughts. This is Terra's sadness, anger, lament.
Wouldn't those be parts of his heart?
Terra's thoughts? We're not gonna lose to you.
Kingdom Hearts cosmology has more non-substantial parts than the Egyptian soul.
Got you, Xehanort.
And yet they're all lighter than a feather.
Terra?
This is impossible.
How I've waited for this moment.
Weird doodle keyblade. Why can't I do that with my Keyblade as Sora? That seems like a pretty handy ability. Dude never used the motorcycle. What is he, a common rider? Because Sora isn't a master. Neither is Terra, sort of. Sora should be. He had the power waking 6 times.
Wretched spirit.
As long as Master Xehanort resides within you, you're a threat to Aqua and Ven.
How noble. You would give your life for theirs?
You must be removed from existence. At all costs.
Oh, is this just like your DBZ animes? Were you reading those animes last night? Or were you watching the mangas?
Naminé, can you call out to Terra?
No, his rage is too strong. He won't respond to me.
No matter who gets hurt, it's bad for Terra. Either way, you have to leave. Go to the world of ocean and sky.
And you?
I got this.
I mean, the world of Ocean and Sky describes a lot of places like Destiny Islands, pirates, the final world.
Be gone!
Surprise, it's a Sora!
How can you be here?
Hey, I can travel to different times too, you know. Did you think you were the only one with that power?
You dare.
Oops, it broke.
Seeing that you have also taken the forbidden path, you too must be ready to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Do I get a chance to save soon? Because I'm looking at the clock and I got 20 minutes left to stream. I know there's autosave, but still. This is a lot of boss fights in a row without the ability to change out your equipment or anything. There's a save point coming up. Okay, cool. I'm just going to ignore your attack. Oh, and I have to go through this skein of deliverance again. Yeah, using magic to ignore his damage. Waterza is too powerful. I think there's one more boss. I think it's another of the invisible style, because you have like the first one's like the lightning one, then you have a fire one. I block when you can use iframes. Well, that, and also you can't block when you're in the air. And most of this game is aerial combat. Because it's just faster. Sora's a better attacker if he isn't touching the ground.
You resolve.
Oh man, Reflect, that was broken. You can block in the air in this game? I am legitimately just now learning that. Because, like, literally, most of the others, like, with the exception of, like, Aqua's Reflect, you can't. Well, anyway, I'm not going to change my playstyle at this point.
Darkness awaits you!
No, it doesn't. There's Xehanor's constipation. Oh dear. Look at that. We're back at the skein of deliverance. Wow. Blocking in air. Like, this is not a bit. I legitimately did not know you could do that. I mean, I just have fun with combat, period. Like, that is not my weak point with the game. I don't think I have. Yeah, I need Damascus. I should have done some photo missions, but actually, I wonder. A postcard. I'll go to Twilight Town. Why block when you get form change iframes? Well, that. Hope I wasn't yelling. No, I thought that was hilariously. That was both well written in all caps and hilariously timed. It's like you have space jump. I legitimately did not know that was a thing. Yeah, no, you're completely good, JM. I just... Oh, man, I love Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts. But I think that's where we're going to call it for the day, because if I go down these corridors, we get into cutscenes, and it'll take time, and we won't be able to get the cutscenes. So, you know, it's one of those, and you only have 15 minutes left. It's like, well, Barrett will just wrap up early, and I don't know why I'm doing this accent, but anyway. There's too much of a chat to look, they say the best defense is a good offense, so 4-hour stream. 4-hour stream. No. We'll save that for the 700, which we're getting closer to. We're at 657 on the channel, which is amazing. Thank you, everyone. So get a good offense. Ouch. I beat the final boss. What more do you want? You have to attack your enemy's strengths. It's where they least expect it. Exactly. 13 hours stream. Oh, I did 12 for the 500, and that was a blast. But also, I'm glad I can't do it always. I don't know how some people do that. Also, I had to eat MREs, so that might have been part of the problem. One per Seeker of Dark. Yeah, I got that. 24-hour stream. No, definitely not doing that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Let's Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Sabathon, why do you hate me? I'm not. Did you want me to? No. Whatever, person chat. What if I get 657 people in chat? But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Let's Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with you all today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow as we're going to be playing Keeper, game about bringing the light to the world. So I'm excited to play that. It's from Double Fine. Wednesday, Minecraft. Thursday, we are playing... Super Solvers Think. Super Solvers Think. I'm excited about that. Friday, I'm on Game of Faves. Mother's Day themed episode all around Mother Mary. And then next Monday, back to Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. So I think that is everything. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And I think that's everything. So let's see who's live that we can raid into. I'm going to throw you on over to Banana is Hannah, who actually loves mangoes more than bananas. Raid call is Father Raid or May the 4th be with you, because we're all a bunch of nerds here on the internet. But go give her some love. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.